let's kick things off here. Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons. This is 3.5 in favor of the Falcons at home over the Cowboys. 51.5 to 52 is our total. Mo, an interesting game just in general, because you have a team in the Cowboys doesn't look like they're going to be completely healthy on the defensive side. It maybe get a piece back in the secondary, but even then they weren't really playing that good to begin with. So what does that mean for them? And then this Falcons team has shown us some really bad performances, some in-between performances, and then a couple of good ones thrown in there in the midway point as well. Overall thoughts here on Cowboys and Falcons?
I like the Falcons. This is one of the bets I did make.
Yeah.
I took the cheap 3.
Yep.
105.3. I think you could have got 2.5 early in the week.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 minus 115 is still fine. It starts to get a little iffy when you get past 3 for me.
Yeah.
I did make my fair 4 here. So 3.5, I don't know if I would bet it at that point, but man, how are the Cowboys getting a stop in this game? This defense.
I know.
Like, the Falcons basically do everything well on offense. Like, they can run the ball and they can throw the ball, and the Cowboys can't stop anything at all. They don't put any pressure on the quarterback, especially with Micah Parsons. Sounds like he's not going to come back. So, without him in there, like, that would have been a nice matchup for the Cowboys, with a quarterback who has really struggled at times as far as moving around. Like, obviously he's doing quite well throwing the ball, but now when he's not going to be under pressure and you have a Falcons rushing attack with 2 absolute bulldozers against a team that doesn't really tackle and doesn't just doesn't move the line of scrimmage. I don't know, man. I think Dallas was, let me double check, but I think they're one of the last in adjusted line yards.
Oh, yeah.
31st. Like, they're just getting blown off. How are they getting a stop in this game? I mean, I know that Dallas should be able to move the ball as well, but I have enough trust in these safeties to at least get a couple of stops. That might be all they need in this game.
I'm with you. So I played the 3 on the Falcons as well. And for me, we're lockstep as far as should be able to run the ball all day on this Dallas team. And then I saw an interesting graph that was put on Twitter, and man, I really wish I knew who it was so I could give credit where credit is due. But basically over the last couple of games, Atlanta's figured something out on the offensive side of the ball to kind of beat this too high safety thing. And they figured out kind of how to run Pitts in one direction, London in another direction, and Mooney in another direction. And then basically it's okay, if this goes here, then he goes here. And if this goes here, then he goes here. And they having those 3 different weapons that run basically 3 different types of routes and have 3 different types of mismatches when it comes to matchups, that I was pretty interested in that too, and he showed some different examples of how Kirk Cousins was able to navigate this the way that basically all these teams are playing defense these days. And so to go along with the rushing attack, if they can convert some of these third downs with what seems like a way that they figured out how to do it, I just don't know where Dallas gets the stops. And if this is a shootout, I mean, we're looking at a big total. I have way more confidence in the Atlanta offense scoring more times than Dallas.
Yeah, I was going to point that out. What you said is definitely important, I think. Sometimes with the high totals, it makes me a little more comfortable laying points, basically, because, those points are just less likely to come into play than if this was Falcons -3, total of 42.5 or whatever. So just a pretty good spot for me to lay points. This line is telling us these teams are, not far apart. And I don't think they're super far apart, but I think the Falcons are clearly better than Dallas and they're at home. So I do not understand why this should be 3. And the markets agrees with us. So looks like we got it in good here.